Woo! Okay, y'all thought I was depressed in my journaling video, but let me tell you. Name a more iconic duo: seasonal depression, pandemic depression. Just mix it up in the little mixing pot, and boom, we have a very dysfunctional person. Life sucks really bad right now. So, we're gonna make some art. We're gonna just paint our feelings away. It's like currently 9 o'clock right now. We're just gonna do a time lapse. I have kind of a general idea of what I'm painting. I have it like in my mind, so I'm gonna get it on the canvas. Let's get to painting.
Alright, so welcome to Voiceover Emily. With this painting, I wanted to process and express the kind of depressed and isolated feelings I was having. So with that, I used a very dark and cool color palette you can see with the black and the blue. And I have a very unique style that I like to do like vortexes kind of in my backgrounds. I'll show a few examples of a different series that I did right here. So I wanted to keep up with that stylistic choice. I'm now taking time to add like black water to the foreground, and then I'm taking more time to add depth and midtones to my vortex background. This is actually one of my favorite parts of my paintings. I had a lot of fun coming up with this method in my other series. I really enjoy finding the natural highlights, midtones, and shadows in the little swirl that I make at the beginning. I find it very satisfying to finish up in this way. I totally used the wrong kind of brush for this, but I'm adding a little shore/cliffside to add to this little depression, ocean scenery. I then got started with the silhouette of a ship in the background, midground, not quite the foreground. Then adding little light spots and blending them out to make them softer. Now, unfortunately for this little bit, you mainly just see the back of my head, but I'm adding the reflection in the water to give more like depth and understanding to what this is. It's a ship with its lights reflecting in the water. I then add some harsh dots to act as the source lighting. I ended up messing around with the shore silhouette a little bit, but I didn't really like how it turned out when it came too far into the foreground. I then started working on a silhouette of a lighthouse. Another thing I really like about my vortex backgrounds is it's really easy to undo mistakes because I just blend it in by swirling it, and it works out. You can see I'm kind of going back and forth trying to get the silhouette of the lighthouse correct. I'm surprised at how long it took me. It was just such a tiny detail, and the angles mattered a lot, and exaggerating where it was at. So this was a fun challenge for me trying to figure that out. Here you can see again I'm blending my mistakes into the background. So the title I came up with for this painting was What If the Ship Sinks? Because a lot of what this painting represents for me is the trauma response of trying to become as self-sufficient and independent as humanly possible, so you don't give others the chance of abandoning you or the feeling that you can't handle a situation. This is represented by the ship in the dark on the sea, only being guided by its own light and the lighthouse being out. But then the reflection of reality being that the ship can't make it through in the dark by its own light. It does need the lighthouse to keep guiding it. So the title, What If the Ship Sinks, brings in notes of anxiety that kind of put the whole story together for me. Because the true reality, there are people, there are lighthouses in my life who continue to unconditionally love me and guide me and help me when I need it, and I'm not out here alone. It sometimes can just be really hard to remember that. So now I'm using a white gel pen because I ran out of white acrylic paint to add crashing waves on this. I kind of went back and forth after reviewing this footage on if that was a good idea, but I think it adds to the piece, and that's why I added it originally. So I'm gonna end up going through a few variations of this because I didn't like how the first form turned out. So I just meant to add a bit of a dark wash over this, but it turns out the ink wasn't dry, so it smudged it around a little bit. I kind of went back and forth on if this was how I wanted to keep it, but ultimately decided to continue adding white to it. The second time around, I tried to add more volume and momentum to give the piece kind of a feeling of movement. And I think I did pretty well on that. It was kind of difficult. I'm not used to drawing action. So this was another really fun exercise for me in this painting.
Okay, well, I'm done now. I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. It's not exactly what I had in my mind, but it's really dang close, and I'm really happy with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Process your emotions, get them out, get them acknowledged, get some sunshine or some artificial lighting. I'm going to bed, so have a good one. Okay, bye. Also, my battle paint. I didn't realize how much I had on my arm until my mom pointed it out, so it's the good kind of dirty. Anyway, night.